Day is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And welcome. 888-900-3393. It's our phone number if you'd ever like to get in touch with us during the course of the day. It's a busy, busy day, as usual. There's not a lot of days when you just want to talk about your favorite Disney characters anymore. There used to be those days, but seems like those days don't come around anymore.
Pluto is mine.
Mine too.
Pluto's your favorite Disney character?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And welcome back, by the way, Chris.
Thank you.
From your prison stay. How was it? It's like a missionary thing to a prison?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's great.
I'm gonna make sure in overtime we get to the bottom of this. I'm not buying a story.
Really? Mm-mm. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Although I'll be doing Glenn's show when you're
go back later. And
that's true.
It's on demand.
That is very, very
right
true.
Right after Glenn's show, it
exactly.
posts. And I know that's what you'll be doing.
Yes, you know I will. You know I will. So yesterday, President Trump made a big announcement with the NFL in his office.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm pleased to reveal that the 2027 NFL Draft, that's a big thing, will be held right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., on the National Mall. And you get a little glimpse of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I was just saying to Roger, I don't think there's ever been anything like that. That's a good idea. In fact, maybe we could use it for other things also. I have an idea. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be something that nobody else will ever be able to duplicate that, I don't suspect. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
That is cool.
So, on the not-so-frozen concrete of the Washington, D.C. Mall, the Warriors take to the NFL Draft. So 2027, not next year.
Yeah, next year's Pittsburgh.
But the year after that.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the mall in Washington.
That's cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's fun.
That is going to be wild, man.
I'll bet you some people show up for that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a crowd. Going to be a crowd.
Honestly, I'm serious. I think the Founding Fathers would love this. I do, because, John Adams said, right, we study war so our kids can study history. Our kids study history so their kids can study art. Their kids study art so that their kids can go hang out at the NFL Draft in the nation's capital.
That's a direct quote, I think.
Loosely.
I think I don't even know if it's loose. I think that's pretty
almost verbatim.
I was following along.
Verbatim. Yeah.
I mean, they would be fascinated by that.
Yeah, they would.
I think it's awesome.
The president also took a question about the Pope meme, of course, over the weekend.
Mr. President, some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?"
My question about
Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account. Even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme. Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on that particular channel?
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you? Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah. He just basically blew it off.
So that was Fox News reporter.
Yeah, that was Jackie Heinrich or whatever her name is.
And I love Roger Goodell and Marion Bowser, right? The D.C. mayor. They were just standing there stone-faced the whole time.
Yeah.
Except for when he made the joke about the being married. Then Roger loosened up a little bit. A couple of lefties up there.
Yeah, I don't know if Catholics loved it or not. I don't know. Maybe.
Cardinal Dolan said he hopes that the president didn't have anything to do with the creation of it.
Okay.
So there's his.
It's his take. Live from Italy, because he's there for the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's there for the conclave, right?
That starts tomorrow. How's Jeffy going to be here and there campaigning at the same time?
Oh, I think we're going to join him via Skype or something. Well, they just closed down Skype, didn't they?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're moving on to, what's the other one?
Zoom.
Is it Zoom?
Zoom, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Skype just, bye-bye.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate, somebody brought to my attention yesterday, there was a tweet that said when the pandemic started, Skype was leading Zoom 28-3. Wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
so,
maybe even worse than that, actually, but I know the score is important.
I never heard
of
of Zoom before the COVID.
Yeah, I know.
And then it
came on fast.
Like the next day, it was like, well, yeah, everyone's using Zoom. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It did to Skype what Facebook initially did to MySpace. And then Instagram kind of did to Instagram and Twitter did to Facebook. So, it's just part of the technological advancement. You hate to see the horse and carriage go, but you're eventually pretty happy about the combustion engine cars.
Well, not in Canada, where they're getting outlawed by 2035.
Man.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But during that same press conference from yesterday, the president was also asked about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline explosion.
This is about part of the whole getting other reporters in there, not the mainstream media. You thought, a Nord Stream 2 question? Wow, that's cool. And then I found out it was from a Zero Hedge reporter.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
2.5 years ago, the Nord Stream pipeline blew up.
Yeah.
And despite what people like John Brennan and all the hawks said, you were one person who said Russia probably did not blow up its own pipeline.
Yeah, if you can believe. They said Russia blew it up, yeah.
And so I'm wondering, now that you're president, if you would consider launching a formal investigation into what happened there and who actually did blow it up.
Well,
This is
probably if
interesting.
I asked certain people, I'd be able to tell you without having to waste a lot of money on an investigation. But I think a lot of people know who blew it up. But I was the one that blew it up originally because I wouldn't let it be built. And then when Biden got in, he allowed it to be built. And it's very interesting. But I think Russia, with the price of oil right now, oil's gone down. I think we're in a good position to settle. They want to settle. Ukraine wants to settle. If I weren't president, nobody would be settling. They're losing 5,000 people a day. Think of it. Here we talk about football. They're losing 5,000 people on average a week, mostly Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers, 5,000 a week, not including people that are, killed as missiles go into areas that they shouldn't be. It's a very terrible thing, and I think we've come a long way, and it could be something will happen, but hopefully it will. As you know, President Putin just announced a 3-day ceasefire, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot if you knew where we started from, because they were not. We had a president that for 3 years didn't speak to Putin.
Yeah.
And it all shouldn't have happened. This is a war that should have never happened. And you're going to be very disappointed when you find out the real number of people that were killed. It's far greater, many times greater, I believe, but far greater than the numbers that you're putting out. It's a very, very deadly, horrible war.
Yeah. And really, he's the only world leader who ever even mentions the human toll in this war.
Right.
You hear anybody else, you certainly didn't hear Biden mention it. He didn't talk about how many people died every week. President Trump talks about it every single time. Virtually every time the war comes up, he talks about 5,000 people a week dying. He's not okay with it, which is great. No one should be okay with it. It's despicable, and it really needs to stop. But got to have a little cooperation on both sides in order for that to happen. Somebody's got to be able to compromise somewhere along the way. Either Ukraine or Russia. Well, actually, both. Both need to compromise some. The big news of the day, though, was the self-deportation plan from the administration.
What we thought we'd do is a self-deport, where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time.
Get out.
And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people, if they're the kind of people that we want in our company, industrious people that could love our country. And if they're not, they won't. But it will give them a path to becoming, to coming back into the country. If they miss that limit, they're going to be taken out of our country, and they will never get a path to come back in, and it'll be a much tougher process. And it's called self-deportation. And by doing that, you're talking about so many millions of people.
Kind of weird with Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, right behind him the whole time. He should have probably said, I'm going to let my Gus go. Okay, now I'll take some questions. Because Goodell doesn't know what to do with himself there. He doesn't want any part of any of this political stuff.
I could see Trump going, Roger, you thinking about expanding into South America? Maybe you could start a team with some of these illegals. I don't know.
What do you think of Manawani Arawa?
Okay.
Is that a good place to start an NFL franchise? Border Czar Tom Homan was asked about the self-deportation plan later yesterday.
Explain to us your hopes for this program.
Well, look, and if you look at what Biden administration did, he gave a free airline ticket to the city of their choice. When they got arrested by the Border Patrol, they picked what city they want to go to. Free hotel room at $500 a night, 3 meals a day, free medical care, and work authorization. So we're in the export program. So we're turning the CBP home app, reversing it, and sending people home. But the president's right on the cost savings. I mean, rather than, especially in sanctuary cities where it used to be one agent can arrest one bad guy in a county jail, now we got to send a whole team for officer safety reasons to look for these people out in the public. But I think this is ideal for like the 1.4 million illegal aliens who've been ordered deported but became fugitives. And open up other opportunities. It's going to be an extreme cost savings, first of all, for the right people. And I think it's going to help remove those that want to come back under a legal program. For instance, if you're already deported but you have a U.S. citizen child here, well, someday that child can petition for you. But if we have to formally deport you, that puts mandatory bars against you. Even if you, in other opportunities, you can come back on a student visa, a visitor's visa, and come back the right way. But if we have to formally go through the process of seeking you out and deporting you formally, you get all these bars that shut off all these future programs. So it'll be an immense cost savings. I think you're looking at like a 75% cost savings. Look, the criminals, we're still have to go find the criminals. The criminals aren't going to take advantage of this program, but we got to keep looking at the criminals. This is about the other population.
All right.
I like it. I mean, I hate having to pay money, but, if that's what it takes, get out.
But it's worth it, and it's obviously cheaper that way.
Yeah, just wait for the judges to step in.
Yeah.
No, we can't allow this to happen. It's coming.
Meanwhile, we keep getting more information about the Maryland man. The poor, sainted, wonderful Maryland man he's never done anything wrong in his life, let alone committed crimes. He's never done anything wrong. Leave him alone. Why do you keep hassling this man? But just bring him back, put him back in his home where, he's such a good husband and father.
That's what I hear.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't always that way, apparently, because Abrego Garcia's wife was, I believe this is before a judge, and she's seeking the second restraining order against her husband. And listen to some of what she had to say about what she was going through at the time.
I came to fill out a protective order. I think it was in December. But I didn't show up to the court because his family, washed my brain telling me that his dad was sick.
Pause it for a second. I think she means brainwashed. So she was brainwashed by his family not to do it. All right, let her go.
Dad was sick and not to do it. So I didn't do anything. But after that, it was I would call the police. I have a lot of police reports. And I kept trying to get to the door basement to try to open the door, and then he pushed me. So then when I was able to go outside to get a phone, I called 911 from a disconnected phone. Now they took a long time to get to the house. It was probably 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I saw a neighbor walking his dog, and I opened the door and I was like, help. And then when he heard me, like, he grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. And then the neighbor, like, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to react. I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises, because it's not, even on Wednesday, he hit me like around like 3 a.m. He would just wake up and like hit me. And then last Saturday for my daughter's birthday party, before I went to my daughter's birthday party, he slapped me 3 times. And then last week I did call the police. My sister called the police because he hit me in front of my sister.
Oh. That sound like the actions of a saint? Not exactly, does it? I mean, I think most saints would frown on that kind of activity with your spouse. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different tune she's singing now, of course.
Yeah, and if she had followed through with some of these things, these charges, then he could have been deported under the Lake and Riley Act. But since she pulled back on that.
So, as a result, now he's in CCOT.
Yeah, now she's saying...
Good luck with that.
What was it she said when Michael Strahan asked him about the restraining order? My husband's alive!
That's what she said. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's a woman who needs to get out of that relationship, and President Trump just gave her a golden opportunity to do that.
Yeah, he did. And I don't know what happened in the interim. I think this is fairly common, though, when somebody who's being abused sticks up for the abuser. I don't think that's super unusual, but it's unfortunate. And, you know, I'm sure she thinks he's changed or this situation is going to change him.
But think of this. If you're living your life in fear, which at least at one point in time, it's clear that she was.
Yeah.
Where else on the planet could he be where you feel more protected than him at that, what's it called again?
CCOT
down in El Salvador.
Right.
I mean,
right.
You're okay.
Yep.
You're going to be okay. You should let this one go.
Man. And sticking with the topic of illegal immigration, here are 2 voices on the left. David French, who wants people to think he's a conservative for some reason.
That is awesome.
Are we still playing that game?
Does he
with
still
David
say
French?
that? I seriously don't know.
I don't know if he dropped that or not yet. And somebody on MSNBC that they have on all the time. First, here's David French with a message for MAGA Christians.
Barbarians are at the gate. You need a barbarian to fight back against you. And what I'm getting from you is you don't really believe that the barbarians aren't, the traditional barbarians. It's just, I don't like the left.
Oh, it's very anti-left. I mean, look.
So Donald Trump wouldn't be a barbarian in this scenario.
Well, and think about how contrary this is to the example of Jesus, because Jesus comes to ancient Israel when it's under Roman occupation, where the people of Israel are deeply oppressed. And he doesn't come and overthrow the government. He doesn't come and rule in the way that these Christian right people want to rule. He comes in and he loves other people. He serves other people, and even forgives the people who are executing him as they're executing him. And yet you look at this Christian right, the MAGA Christian right. It is will to power. It is cruelty. It is dominance.
No, it is not.
Look how they applaud as Trump is cruel to immigrants, just vicious, depriving them of their constitutional rights. This is nothing about this is drawn from historic Christian theology.
So when Donald Trump said,
pathetic. What a pathetic loser he is. Oh my gosh. I hate it when they twist Jesus' message every single time to fit their illegal narrative. It's despicable.
Yeah, and
it really is.
If he's hanging his hat on the violent conservative Christian right in this country, I'm sorry. Have you been alive for the last 10 years, David? Have you seen who has been propelling the violence in this country? How far back do you want to go?
Well, he only wants to go to January 6th.
Oh.
That's all that they can travel is back to January 6th every time. Because that's all they have. Which is why it sucks so much that they have that to reference, because there was, in fact, a riot. But, that's the one they continually hammer. And they will forever.
Who burned the city? Which side of the political spectrum burned the cities to the ground during George Floyd?
I know.
Which side of the political spectrum is firebombing Tesla dealerships? Which side of the political... hell, we'll never find out who was trying to kill Donald Trump on multiple occasions.
True. Yeah,
French.
Who is also placating murderers right now of all stripes. I mean, the killer of the United Healthcare CEO. There's him. They're making the Carmelo Anthony situation. They're making him into a hero. The guy who stabbed a fellow 17-year-old in the chest and killed him because he was asked to leave. I mean, of course, they have no respect for life at all. And here's Elie Mystal discussing a hypothetical.
Right. Why do I care what their status was when they committed the crime? If you can prove they committed a crime. I say in the book, if I get shot, if I get murdered by an undocumented immigrant, please tell my children I did not care that they were undocumented.
Right.
Did he miss the point just a bit there?
I don't know.
Could you tell you tell your kids in advance, buddy shouldn't have been here, so I'd still be alive to just have a talk with you.
Crap.
What is bizarre?
I don't understand this point of view.
Again, that's that whole thing that we talk about all the time. That's their excuse for illegals who commit violent crimes in this country. Well, there's Americans who do things too. People get killed by Americans all the time. Yeah, but we don't need other countries' killers here as well. It's unbelievable.
Sure is.
We have enough violent people in our country without taking other countries' violent people and adding to the problem. It's just so stupid. There is no logic center to these people's brains. But the biggest threat, of course, facing the country isn't from outside, it's inside, and it's not illegal immigrants even, or terrorists who may be here. It is Congressperson Ilhan Omar, as she explains.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not racist at all.
I'm looking for the data for that. Please give me that, Ilhan Omar. Oh, my gosh.
What was her stat?
That white men create... listen to the genius.
Yeah.
Most of the crime in this country.
Okay.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
Most deaths.
We should be profiling, monitoring.
Are white men, I guess. Which I don't know. I mean, it would make sense because they make up 68% of the population. Yeah. So if you're going person for person. They probably should be.
Yeah, but that's not even accurate. I mean, the black murder rate is probably about 10 times higher than whites. So, but you keep preaching, Elon,
and she will.
Man, that is hideous.
She will.
That and in fact, didn't JD Vance retweet that clip and say, what did he say? This is. I forget, something along the lines of, this sounds like she's calling for ethnic cleansing. I don't want to.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
If she just flat out said it. She is one of the worst human beings to ever hold office in this country.
Here's what the vice president said. This isn't just sick. It's actually genocidal language. What a disgrace this person is. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly right. All right, let me take a minute, as Mother's Day approaches, and highlight an organization that really cares deeply for mothers, and that's Preborn and their network of clinics. They exist to exclusively offer love, life, and support to pregnant mothers who are feeling scared and alone and are being pressured to make that ultimate choice that will not only sacrifice the life of their preborn baby, but take a piece of their heart with them. So when a distressed mother comes to a preborn clinic, she's welcomed with open arms and offered a free ultrasound to hear and see the precious life inside of her. And the majority of the time afterwards, then she chooses life. This Mother's Day, you can help bring life to both a mother in need and an at-risk baby. One ultrasound is only $28. $28. 5 ultrasounds are $140 if you can afford that. Every penny goes toward loving mothers and babies really well. And when you become a monthly sponsor, you'll receive pictures and stories of lives that you helped to save. To get involved, just dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250. Then say the keyword baby, or just visit preborn.com/Pat. That's preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
Meanwhile, members of the administration were out making the rounds yesterday. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's been really good. He's really solid. He was touting the big, beautiful bill. I think is that the official name now? Everybody calls it that.
I would love to know what bill number that is so I can look it up.
And talking about making permanent the Trump tax cuts from a few years ago. And he also hinted at some other things that might be coming.
What I've been talking about is reprivatizing the economy. So on one side, we're going to be bringing down government spending, which has been crowding out the private sector. We're also going to be shedding excess labor on the government side. Then on the other side, we have a substantial financial deregulatory agenda coming we put a lot of new regulators in place so the private sector can re-leverage, and we're putting a special focus on community banks, small regional banks, which were very near what I would call an extinction event in the next 4 or 5 years. So the idea is to get them lending again too.
Okay. Makes sense. He also discussed how investments are now pouring into the country.
The president believes we can achieve more together. This is the abundant vision he has for the future. He wants everyone to be a part of it. Thousands of businesses are now catching the president's vision. Since he assumed office in January, companies have pledged to invest trillions into the U.S. economy. President Trump has secured more investment for our country in 100 days than President Biden did during all 4 years.
Of course he has.
Entrepreneurs, too, are starting to understand what the president is trying to accomplish. March saw one of the highest levels ever recorded for new business applications. Many of these men and women, like many of you, are grasping that America First is the blueprint for a more abundant world.
Mm-hmm. He comes with facts.
Sure does.
Oh, that guy.
Sure does. Who else has brought $5 trillion of investment into the U.S. in such a short amount of time? It's never happened before. That is one of those things. It's never been done. It's big, beautiful, beautiful investment. It's never been done. And nobody even tries to do it. Biden certainly didn't. But, we get these gigantic numbers thrown out all the time. So it doesn't really have the impact that it should. $5 trillion of investment in 100 days is incredible. Mm-hmm. What could it be like after 3.5 more years? My gosh.
We just need to be patient.
Yeah, if we can, and that's not one of our strong points.
No, it is not. I will say that I'm looking at the congressional budget, and I'm not seeing big, beautiful bill attached anywhere in the language.
So they haven't officially named it.
I don't see that, and we need to get on that.
Yeah,
because it's. Would you rather it be called the Big Beautiful Bill, or would you rather it be called the Establishing the Congressional Budget for the United States Government for Fiscal Year blah 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 blah?
That's a tough one. Yeah, because I like the blah blah blahs at the end.
You do?
Yeah, I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah. You like that?
It's a nice touch.
Okay, but is it Big Beautiful Bill?
No, it is not.
So blah blah blah,
or Big Beautiful Bill.
You got
tough one. I might go
Bs.
with the 3 Bs.
I mean, either way, you get the alliteration, so you win.
Yeah.
Regardless.
All right, more coming up. Hang in there.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. Sons of Thunder 44. Will there be scalpers to get tickets to the NFL draft in Washington?
Is that going to be the next nickname for the Commanders?
The Scalpers?
Probably not.
The Washington Scalpers. Did you say, Chris, you got some sort of...
this is the artist rendition that the NFL posted on how it would look on draft day.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool, man.
I like the second picture.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got the monument back there.
So the actual people there are not going to have faces?
No, they will not be having faces. They're not allowed. They'll be wearing masks.
Now, that's going to be weird.
And they have to wear blue
That is
and
going
red.
to be weird. Huh. Strange, but cool at the same time. Very cool.
I like that.
Yeah, in Green Bay, they got like 220,000 per session or something with the NFL draft a couple weeks ago. So how many are going to show up in D.C.? Holy cow. It was over 600,000 for the event in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
What's the population of
like
Green Bay?
100,000, 105,000? It's not very big.
Wow, 105,000, man.
So...
Gosh, you're right.
You more than doubled the population every day.
Every day.
Incredible. I wonder how they handled that with hotels and traffic, and that had to be sort of a logistics nightmare.
A nightmare?
You know,
yeah.
Where you are Thursday evening in Green Bay is where you were Sunday night in Green
That's
Bay.
for sure.
You didn't move.
Yeah. Gen X Kid tweets, anyone who can be caught between the moon and New York City can be at the Vatican and in Texas at the same time.
Oh.
Just saying.
Makes sense, though.
It does. It does. That's a large person that can spread out over a very large area.
Let me eat!
Right.
That's like a quality you want in a pope, too. You got to be in multiple places.
Right. You can be a lot of things to a lot of different people at the same time. Lone Wolf 2965. Glenn's in Italy campaigning for Jeffy's papal candidacy so he can get Jeffy off of the Blaze payroll, isn't he?
Oh, man. Do we know if he's back yet?
I don't know if he's taking a rest day or whatever, but I'm filling in for him one more day today.
Okay.
So
because it sounds like American Airlines not his friend.
No.
Based on his tweets.
They never are. Has American Airlines ever been our friend? We should make them change their name to Un-American Airlines. Because,
I like it.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good.
No, they aren't.
Anytime I've got similar flights and similar fares, I always choose the other airline.
The tiebreaker is not American.
Not American.
Sorry.
Right. Could be United, could be Delta, could be JetBlue. I don't care. But anybody but American.
How about Frontier?
Frontier.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, you really do hate American Airlines.
I do not like American Airlines. Dalton Bell, we can give $1,000 to get the illegals to leave, but can't cut my taxes.
Right?
Yeah, there's that. So
is that what they're going to do? Are they going to try to make the Trump tax cuts permanent in the big, beautiful bill?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to come back later to do the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime?
It's a good question.
Because that's not a part of this, from my understanding.
And that was a big deal for him. He spoke about that a lot. So I'm sure he hasn't forgotten.
Oh, no.
There must be some provision for it. Rowdy Introvert, perhaps Ilhan Omar is including Fauci in her calculation of deaths caused by white men. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, she's exactly right on that.
Well, hold on a second. A couple of things here. Wow, they might actually put that no tax on tips and overtime in
the bill.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Okay, that remains to be seen. But it's ironic. Great tweet by Rowdy on the if you're counting Dr. Fauci, Elon Omar is right that white men are the biggest threat. Dr. Peter McCullough has now estimated that 560,000 Americans died as a direct result of the COVID vaccine, rivaling the death toll of the Civil War.
560,000?
That's his estimate. Shocking. But is it?
Wow. I mean, nobody will ever back that up.
And
they just won't ever do that.
He explains how it's impossible to know because some people, die at home alone, and some people. But he was talking about how.
Plus, you've got the cover up, so nobody will talk about that ever.
Yep.
Wow.
And he talks about like The only ones you really can pinpoint are the ones that died right there after it was administered.
Yeah. And that did happen, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
I mean, within 15 minutes or whatever, you were supposed to sit there and wait after you had your injection just to make sure you didn't die in the first 15 minutes.
So Elon Omar, correct.
Good for her.
Good catch there,
Good for her. Also, along those lines, President Trump just banned gain-of-function research. Did you see that? You reading about that? You see that in the paper, Kevin? You see that?
Yeah, we got the video of him signing the executive order.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that
18.
then. Well, we might as well now since I brought it up. Here it is.
The first relates to gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function research is a type of biomedical research where pathogens are adulterated viruses or adulterated to make them more potent or to change the way that they function. Many people believe that gain-of-function research was one of the key causes of the COVID pandemic that struck us in the last decade.
Doesn't he?
What this executive order does, first of all, it provides powerful new tools to enforce the ban on federal funding for gain-of-function research abroad. It also strengthens other oversight mechanisms related to that issue and creates an overarching strategy to ensure that biomedical research in general is being conducted safely and in a way that ultimately protects human health more.
He's looking around.
Shut up! It's a big deal. Could have been that we wouldn't have had the problem we had.
A lot of people say that, sir.
A lot of people say that.
Had this done.
And there it is. He's already signed it
Earlier. Thank you.
A little anticlimactic because we didn't even see him sign it.
Well, he spoke too much. So Trump is like, oh, crap, he's going to speak again.
This guy's going to babble endlessly, so I better sign it in advance or I'll never have the chance to do it.
I love that the three guys behind him there. You've got HHS with Kennedy on the right, and then Bhattacharya from NIH, that Marquet guy at FDA. I mean, those are great people to have in charge of those agencies. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Thrilled.
And they're unafraid. They'll tell the truth about the whole situation.
Yeah, and by the way, NIH has closed the experimentation labs that where they were torturing beagles. You know, Anthony Fauci, number one threat to humanity, and canines, apparently.
I represent science.
But there is that. He does represent science.
So we've got those closed down, and
good.
And then the influence of RFK. Tyson Foods announced they're getting rid of dyes in their foods.
Dyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was eating at.
Did they announce what they're going to replace it with, or they're just going to let the color? They're just going to leave it brown or whatever color it comes out.
Go back to the dyes already.
I know. We'll be demanding
brown food all the way.
Because here's the thing. You eat with your eyes first. You eat with your eyes and then your mouth. Okay.
I see.
So.
Let's see here. Doesn't say here. No products offered. Let's see. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
But I was eating at In-N-Out Burger the other day, and I thought, boy, the fries taste different. Not bad, not better, just different. And I thought, I did a little Googling, and
there is a difference
to beef tallow from, I think it was sunflower oil.
Really?
Yeah. Over at the old In-N-Out Burger.
So beef tallow is healthier than sunflower oil?
Oh, yeah. Any kind of plant-based oil. Yeah.
Not good. Interesting.
I don't know. You know what? When you start seeing your chicken nuggets look pale and nasty from Tyson Foods, you're going to go, damn you, RFK.
Brown food, good food.
It doesn't say what they're... okay, here we go. However, let's see. Reformulation poses challenges, Pat. Natural alternatives such as dyes derived from beets or red cabbage can be costlier and less stable, potentially affecting product appearance and shelf life.
That's the thing.
And this is much like that bill I read earlier. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't say what they're going to be doing at Tyson, but
interesting
no more
though.
dye.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the whole dye situation because it's going to change. It's going to change things because, first of all, I don't think they've come up with a really good alternative. As you just mentioned, the beet dye is unstable, and it's going to make things look different anyway. So what's going to happen?
Used to it.
Maybe we'll lose some weight along this path.
There's a thought.
Yeah, let's look at the bright side. We'll lose some weight.
That kind of scared me in that little article I was reading. That the dyes are also part of the shelf life. Like, okay, cool. That's good. Preservatives not so fun.
Yeah,
but you got to be disciplined as an eater. If you buy stuff that aren't made with preservatives,
you better get to it.
You can't just sit it and forget it on the counter or in the pantry.
Yeah,
you got to get on that.
I was looking just the other day because a few of our products at home say paraben free, and I thought, what is a paraben anyway? I don't even know why that's a problem. So I looked it up. And it apparently kills bacteria in food and keeps your food fresher longer. So it's a preservative. But it's been associated with some adverse health effects. And so they haven't banned it, but a lot of companies are making products without it. I mean, I'll bet you in 50 years or whatever, we'll find out that was perfectly fine. It didn't do anything to anybody.
Either that or it explains the cancer rates.
Or that, yes.
Do you remember that time that we did an experiment and went away for Christmas break, I think it was, and I put
and it never got bad.
No, I put a loaf of bread in my desk drawer.
Yep.
And we kept checking on it. It wasn't getting...
It didn't get moldy?
Moldy. It wasn't
brown,
even getting stiff or anything.
No.
It was like, okay.
So
I left that thing in there for months.
Yeah, it was in there a long time.
It was not...
And it never turned bad.
In retrospect, what was that? Just a plastic? I mean...
Yes, plastic.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we're eating. Plastics.
It's damn near that in some occasions, yeah.
Sheesh. All right, this July, there is a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging powers, superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran. They call that BRICS. And they're meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, global demand for U.S. dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio Reset in July marks a pivotal moment when BRICS objectives move decisively from theoretically possible toward inevitable reality. Now, you can learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free info kit on gold by texting my name, Pat, to 989898. They have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. Let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation info kit. There's nothing to lose on this. So they'll tell you about how owning gold can be right for you. And you want to do that before July and the big Rio Reset. So text Pat to 989898 today.
Now, more of Pat Gray Unleashed.
FCC Chairman Brendan Carr making the rounds, too. A lot of administration officials were out talking about various things yesterday. He was talking about the possibility of pulling TV stations' licenses that are not meeting the needs of their local communities.
So are you threatening to pull their license? Wouldn't that be a pretty drastic step?
Well, it's not a threat. That's a penalty that is in the Communications Act that if you don't...
But when was the last time the FCC pulled a broadcast license?
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I think that's part of the issue. If you step back, trust in the national mainstream media is at an absolute low right now. It's not just my view. Jeff Bezos himself did an op-ed where he said that. But what's really interesting is that actually local stations, local TV stations, have a lot of trust. And so the agenda that I'm trying to run at the FCC is to empower those actual local television stations to serve the public interest. Because what we've seen is you've got national news media, ABC, NBC, CBS, and they're exercising more and more control over those local TV stations. And I don't think that's a good thing for the country. So we're trying to reverse that.
How about that?
Oh, no.
That is something you never hear about anymore.
I know.
It used to be discussed all the time that if you had an FCC license for your radio station, your TV station, whatever, you had to serve the local community. You had to meet the needs of your local community. And you were held accountable for that. We're just not anymore.
No.
I mean, they dropped everything. Sometimes things become so deregulated that it becomes the Wild West, and that's what happened with radio and TV. When they took away the restrictions of how many stations you could own in a particular market, that changed everything. Just completely, almost overnight revamped radio, especially. Then you had the major, gigantic companies like Clear Channel who owned everything. Citadel, Clear Channel, they became behemoths. And so I think they started to think, I don't know if Clear Channel thinks this way, but they start thinking, well, nothing's going to happen to us. We'll do what we want.
Yeah, we talked about in overtime how you ended up getting this homogenized radio all over the country because you'd have major companies owning all these stations, and then the guy giving the traffic and weather together in
not even in your market.
Yeah, he's in Atlanta
or Los Angeles
or LA or whatever. Yeah. He's just down the hall recording it for about 20 stations in little towns.
We've discussed that before. I mean, it really has changed things. It's removed a lot of the local flavor from radio and TV. It has limited the jobs available in radio and television. Of course, we've replaced it, I guess, with podcasters because now every living organism has a podcast.
Yeah.
Which is a positive development.
That is a positive development. There's a lot of choices out there.
Lots and lots of choices. You can even go with an amoeba in Pocatello if you want. He's got his own podcast.
He's got his own merchandise.
It's got its own
at
podcast.
rowdymade.com, don't forget.
Oh, and its own merch. Yeah. So, congratulations.
And the baby and then that dog.
Oh, yeah.
They have a
They dropped episode 2 last week, by the way.
Episode 2.
I
saw episode 2. Not as funny as the first one, but still good. Still good.
Oh, they dropped the second podcast.
Yeah. I didn't send it in because I thought I'd be pushing my luck with Pat. It's like, no,
I love that thing.
Oh, you want to see part 2?
I'd love to, yeah.
All right, we'll pull part 2 then. Okay, Chris. I will say one thing that gets the FCC's cackles raised is Janet Jackson's booby. I mean, that's when the FCC gets relevant
I don't think they'd even raise an eyebrow to that now. Do you? I mean, that's so tame compared to what is going on now. I don't know if they'd even check that out anymore. That's amazing. But they have deregulated. When I first got into radio, you had to have an FCC license in order to be on the air. And that went away a long time ago.
Boy, I wish I had mine framed somewhere.
Yeah, I wish I did too, because it meant something. It was hard to get.
Well, mine wasn't. But yours was.
Mine was, yes.
Mine was just sign here.
I actually had to pass a test.
What?
More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Got a few tweets. Harold Lichtenberg tweets, there's so much investment pouring into the U.S. that I'm concerned we might tip over and capsize. But then again, I'm not a Latino at the Home Depot, so what do I know? That's just an effort, right, to get a bingo square?
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
But during tweets, they don't count. So
nice try.
You can play it or not play it. Wouldn't matter.
Wow.
Jimmy Dimples tweets, I think it might be when American Airlines absorbed U.S. Air. I think they absorbed that particular airline's suckage.
Okay.
All right, maybe. That could explain it. B. DeBodine tweets, so what Pat is saying is, since we're doing away with dyes, we have to eat with better eyes than that. Get it?
Okay, that's a call back to...
You gotta see with better eyes. Than that. Call back to the abyss.
Yeah. That Chris will play any second now.
Yeah. As soon as he finds it
on the
in the
computer.
You have to look with better eyes than that.
Thank you.
Seamless, this show.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Welcome
the beauty
back,
of
Chris.
it.
There's a lot of reading that I have to do to find that.
And it's in English.
That's
a good point. That's your second language? Third?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Senator John Fetterman was apparently flying over the weekend, and we know that because he had a little issue with a flight attendant over a seatbelt.
Is your seatbelt on?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it needs to be visible for the crew at all times. That's not on. That's not a us thing. That's a federal regulation. So
really,
it's okay. It's okay. Okay, it's okay, but it just has to be visible to the crew at all times. It's a federal regulation, so if your seatbelt's on, it just has to be visible. And right now, it's not visible.
Is it really a federal regulation?
Yeah. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I've never seen that enforced before.
Frontier likes to enforce
We have
that.
an extender if you'd like that. It'll make it bigger so it can go outside of your sweatshirt.
Are you calling him fat now? Wow. He just broke out Jeffy tonnage language
You want
there.
to go to Pittsburgh? It's
Wow.
simple. You have to follow our instructions, or you're going to ask to get off the airplane. We're not asking much. We'll let it happen. All
Wow.
that we need is to be able to see your seatbelt at all times.
Dude.
I'm not sure what. Okay, what's a federal regulation? So if I don't make
you said that.
then I get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble because I like my job.
I like my job.
Okay. So.
Okay. So I don't know. I guess,
What eventually came of that?
I don't know. Did he eventually clack it, or I don't know.
What are you supposed
I have
to do in all
never.
honesty?
I mean, come on now.
So if it's on,
Just stupid.
right? Did he lift up his
hoodie?
His hoodie to show, look, bro, it's connected.
I don't know.
And like
I don't know.
the flight attendant was like, yeah, but it needs to be on the other side.
It has to be visible at all times
yeah.
to the flight attendant.
Huh.
What?
Let me lift my
Since
belly
when?
every time I see your
Yeah.
stupid flight attendant.
Right, every time you
Right?
walk by, I'll show you, okay? But
I have never seen that enforced like that.
kudos to
before.
John Fetterman. He didn't drop
Yeah,
the
he-
"Do you know who I
right.
am" card.
No, he didn't. Sir, do you know you're speaking with a U.S. senator?
Right. I make those. I make your federal regulations, sir.
True.
Yeah.
Huh.
That was irritating. Do we know what airline that
I was
was?
just gonna ask that, Keith. Do you know?
I recognize that this is geekdom. Buckle up. No pun intended. If you put a still shot up there, well, not in that one there, but it looks like the font of Delta on the stuff there.
Well, that was obnoxious.
Yeah, I think it's Delta flight. Let me look up Fetterman.
I mean, nobody got out of control, which is good, and you could get really irritated.
I really want this to
with
be
somebody
American
being
Airlines.
a stickler
Me
like
too,
that.
I wanted
I
to be
did
American
too.
Airlines
That
too.
would have been
Hold on,
perfect.
because we're just going off of my
which could be completely
geekdom.
inaccurate.
You're
It
right.
might be American. We don't know.
Yeah, please let it be. Okay, if someone knows, I don't know. Let's see. I will say though, what happened there at Newark Airport with a burnt wire? Did you see that?
Is this what knocked out the radar?
Yes.
And
For 90 seconds.
jeez,
They lost all radar and communications, like
not
the radio.
good. That's probably suboptimal.
90 seconds. That's an eternity if you got planes coming in.
Yeah, they couldn't see the planes. They couldn't see the traffic at all. They had no idea what was going on for a minute and a half.
Who's ready to get on a plane, kids?
And go to Newark. Newark's not a great airport to begin with, but that's really bad.
Okay, so Chris has the answer. I don't know what the answer is.
Are you boys ready?
All right, who was
ready.
Fetterman arguing with? What airline?
Let's see.
Hold on. The seatbelt fun was with?
American Airlines.
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yeah! Put that in your pipe and smoke it, American Airlines.
And that was
Un-American
the pilot,
Airlines.
by the way. That was the pilot who was talking to him.
Was it really?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the pilot doing walking through the... Go up and fly the plane.
I thought the flight attendant
dipwad.
was your dupe person. Send somebody back there to deal with that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really weird.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got all sorts of stuff happening here.
That is fun.
We got seatbelt palooza. Mm-hmm. We got frayed wires taking down the world in Newark.
And then we've got what's going on at Reagan.
This is
lately with the helicopters. And it was like a pleasure flight, right? They were sightseeing or something. I mean, I don't think it was an exercise. Well, they did pause training flights.
Yeah, they've done
around
that.
the Pentagon.
It's like that's what we said.
Yeah,
just do that. That's common sense.
Right.
Why?
Let's not take hundreds of lives into your hands every single day. Let's not do that if we can avoid it. And I think we can in this particular case. So they paused all helicopter training flights around the Pentagon near Washington after these disruptions and, of course, the tragedy. A senior Army spokesperson confirmed the pause yesterday, noting it was implemented pending the investigation into last week's decision by Reagan National Airport to divert 2 flights after an Army helicopter on a training mission was told by the Pentagon Tower to make another loop around the Pentagon before landing. Mm-hmm. FAA says that an Army helicopter was training on the scenic route. Okay.
Yeah, that it took the scenic route back to
DOD said it wasn't.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure this
one knows?
out, I think.
Crazy. Well, grilling season is here, and that, of course, means it's time for people to stand outside, flip a steak once, and claim victory. But let's be honest, if you're grilling with sad, flavorless grocery store beef, you're losing right now. Your grill knows when you're holding back. You wouldn't take your significant other to a cheap steak house, right? So why throw a cheap steak on your grates? If you want to keep the fire alive, get real Texas-raised beef from Tri-Tails Beef. No weak cuts, no corporate fillers. Just pasture-raised, grain-finished, black Angus beef. And it's straight from the ranch to your door. And right now, when you order over $349 worth, you'll get a free choice New York strip. So just go to trybeef.com/Pat Grills. That's trybeef.com/Pat Grills. And your grill will thank you. So every order of $349 or more will also get you a delicious New York strip steak. It's fantastic. Tri-Tails Beef. Trybeef.com/Pat Grills.
Pat Gray Unleashed now continues.
So tomorrow, Real ID becomes a requirement for travel in the U.S.
Yeah, yesterday on Overtime, we played the Ron Paul clip from 20 years ago warning us of submitting to this and how it could be, setting you up for
used
databases,
against us. Yeah.
Databases of all sorts of information.
But, I mean, they already have it, right?
Real ID, you know what Real ID is? It's terms and conditions that we just got to the point where we're like, scroll, check, let's go.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's a shame, but that's the truth for all
We've
of us.
been desensitized to all of this now. And so I don't know that anybody cares.
Do you guys already have the yellow star on your ID?
I do, yeah.
What's the yellow star?
Real ID. That means that you have a real ID.
Really?
Yeah, yellow star.
So if my driver's license with the picture on it, that doesn't qualify as real ID? Do I have to do something different? I mean, come on.
All right, okay, hold on a second, Chris. So Texas was a holdout, but I'm looking at my driver's license that was issued to me just last month, and it has the Real ID star.
Okay.
But I'm also holding in my hand my Texas driver's license that was issued to me in 2019 that also has the gold star in the upper corner.
Well, the gold star has been a thing for the longest time. That meant that the DMV saw a birth certificate, a social security card, like other forms of ID, make sure that that is you. Now they're just enforcing that if you don't have that yellow star, it's a fake, not a fake ID, but it's not being verified that that is who you are.
So you might not be able to fly.
You will not be able to fly.
Now, as we learned on yesterday's Overtime, when Hillary Kennedy, who has put off renewing her driver's license and is about to fly somewhere, we did look up if can you fly with an expired driver's license. And apparently, and it seemed kind of loose there, but the TSA, I guess, gives you about a year leeway. So if you show up with your expired driver's license and expect to fly, they give you about a year grace period. Now, your cop out here on 114 isn't gonna give you that grace period.
No.
But apparently,
they're not.
Or you just fly with your passport and you don't have to worry about the Real ID stuff.
Or fly with your passport. Yep.
That does work. Yes. That's Real ID.
And those are good. Easy to just put in your back pocket and get on with your day.
Yeah, you just put it in your back pocket. Yeah.
Sure.
You guys don't carry your passport with y'all?
Oh, every minute of every day.
Okay.
Let's see it.
I have it right now. I just don't want to show it on the camera.
Yeah, it has your personal information.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, when you used to get a passport, they would say, don't smile. And you would look at the camera all serious like this. Well, now I think they're letting you smile.
You can smirk.
You can smirk, but you can't smile.
Smirk.
So we've gone from no grin at all to smirk, but we're not giving you the full smile?
No, you can't have the full smile because facial recognition, their excuse is facial recognition doesn't recognize your face when you're smiling.
Well, you know how you fool it.
I don't believe that.
You know how you fool it?
I don't believe that.
Then everywhere you walk internationally,
just smile.
You're just smiling cheek to cheek.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, but at least the cameras won't pick you up.
Come on.
Are you trying to outsmart the man or not?
Wow,
I'm giving you tips. Giving you life tips.
If facial recognition is that stupid, then we might as well just give up and close up shop right now.
Don't challenge the robots, bro. Don't challenge AI. Clip 21 will show you what happened when you turn your back on them.
Okay.
Look at this. This is in China when they're programming this robot and he decides he's going to break loose.
Yeah, this is the one we were talking about yesterday. Look at that. So they actually have footage of it. That is insane.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It just started flailing on its own, they say.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's because you were smiling. It was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't like that.
I
don't recognize you. Who are you? Karate chop time.
You smiled on your real ID, so I must destroy.
Now, the tweet where we pulled that video from, it said, the robot rebellion has begun. This is the first instance of whatever. And somebody commented underneath, no, the robot rebellion first began with the early VCR eating my VHS tape. Great point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was just a programming error or if that was
interesting.
Did it realize it was being held back from destroying humans and decided to fight back? That's the one?
That's the one.
That's
right
the
there.
one.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Show me that again. That's weird.
Yeah.
So this thing was supposedly just activated itself. They claim that they weren't doing anything. Oh, well, there's people around it.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of details because it's China.
Wow. Okay, that looks...
Yeah, it could just be...
concerning.
Yeah, it could just be...
Maybe it just spazzes out on a regular basis.
It just looks like a human, so we freak out.
Yeah, right.
Like if it was a Roomba just going around in circles, we'd be like, aha, silly Roomba. But since it looks like he's karate chopping, man. He is looking for somebody, though. You're right. I think he's following him, too. See that?
Yep.
Oh, hell.
Of course, that could be completely fabricated. Who knows? Who knows what that's about? What they're going to try to make you think is that they're becoming sentient and it didn't want to be cooped up.
Is this guy saying that videos coming out of China
could be
aren't
faked?
necessarily accurate in what they're portraying?
Yeah, crazy, right?
And the emotion that they're trying to get out of you may not be genuine.
I realize it's just crazy talk.
First you call BS on Real ID, and now you call BS on that?
Oh, bro, what's up? I don't like it. Either way, I don't like it.
Wow. Here's what Kristi Noem had to say about the Real ID situation yesterday.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security.
Hi, Kristi.
If you plan on traveling,
Welcome.
we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a Real ID.
If not,
starting May
gravel
7th,
pit.
you will need a Real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States. These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security. Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-ID. Thank you.
Okay, hang on. You said there's a different, so it depends on the state. So we have the Texas Lone Star in the upper corner.
Yeah, so if you go back to that, just doesn't matter, Joe. Just put Kristi Noem back on our face.
Oh, I see. Upper left, yeah.
If you look at the upper left, those are all the symbols that represents that is a real ID. As you can see, California gets the
bear,
gold bear.
That's great.
But
if your ID doesn't have any of those,
then
it's not a real
valid.
ID.
Hold on, there should be like a peach for Georgia, right?
That's up to Georgia. Did they submit a peach?
There should be, corn for Nebraska,
potatoes
for Idaho, right? That's why is it just stars and then California gets the bear? That's not cool.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. So there you go. You won't be able to go into a federal building which is going to destroy all of my fun. If I can't get into a federal building today, I'm going to be really bummed.
You could go
really
today,
bummed.
not tomorrow.
Okay, right. So I better do all my federal building business today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try. I don't know if I can get it all done in one day, though.
Well, I think we're entering the era of papers, please, officially.
Kind of seems that way
Look
sometimes.
back to May 7th, 2025. Just remember this day or tomorrow.
All right. You're going to think that I'm describing weight loss injections, but I'm not. These remarkable weight loss testimonials actually came from a doctor-formulated weight loss called Lean. And I have some of the testimonials. Patty, for instance, she said, I finally found a weight loss product that works. I wanted to lose 20 pounds, and Lean really curbs my appetite. And really, that's what you need when you're talking about weight loss, is your appetite to be curbed, right? It makes it so much easier. And that's what, things like Ozempic do. But this does it naturally. Lori M. said, I've struggled to get weight off, and Lean has been a lifesaver. I've been losing a couple pounds a week or more. And Kelly F., amazing. I immediately noticed an energy boost and a healthy weight loss, too. I would promote this product to anyone. So Lean was created by a doctor and university researcher to target the goals of GLP-1s, but without the injections. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower blood sugar, radically reduce appetite, and burn fat by converting it into energy. So if you're struggling to lose weight and have a healthy diet, and diet and exercise haven't been enough, Lean could be right for you. So we'll get you started right now with 20% off. Just use the promo code PAT20 at takelean.com. That's promo code PAT20 at takelean.com. Again, takelean, L-E-A-N, takelean.com. Results vary. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and is not a substitute for care from a healthcare provider.
Subscribe today. BlazeTV.com/Pat. Pat Gray Unleashed returns after this.
Got some tweets here. Adrian Slade tweets, John Fetterman should know he could get one of those Jeffy seatbelt extenders, right? Yeah, well, the guy told him, actually, that he could get an extender if he needed it. Seymour posts, so if someone's seatbelt disappears underneath their belly on the plane, are they going to get chewed out by a flight attendant? Asking for a Jeffy. Not fat shaming, just regulation.
Just regulation.
That's all. Zelda Lilbird 10, what's worse than Newark Liberty Airport?
I don't know.
New Jersey Transit.
Yes.
Okay.
Lived that.
Peekapool, the esculation Pokemon. According to the We're Better Than You Act of 2013, if senators fly commercial, they can only be addressed by the pilot or in an emergency, the co-pilot.
Got it.
But only if it's an emergency.
Emergency.
So if you're an elected official, you don't have to interact with a flight attendant.
Right.
No.
Oh,
that's beneath you.
That's beneath you.
Now I want to
You know
run
what I mean?
for office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for them too often.
The House Rules Committee has advanced a bill to permanently rename the Gulf of America. Well, formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. President Trump signed the executive order that started the whole process, but it's got to be codified by law. Otherwise, it could just be changed at the drop of a hat by the next person.
Then it feels like you're in a third world, pendulum swing dictatorship from one to the next.
Right.
We're naming it this. No, we're naming it this.
But the measure advanced through the House Rules Committee in a party line vote Monday night, teeing it up for the chamber-wide vote sometime this week. So they're going to vote on that this week.
Okay. I mean, there are a lot more important executive orders that we'd like to see become law.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But
that's for
at least Congress is in there working for us on some level.
They're doing something.
Well, you better get this stuff done quickly. They got another vacation waiting.
Yeah, it's coming soon, isn't it?
I forget. I
mean, they have multiple vacations,
and this
but
is
there's
not
one
an exaggeration at all. They are out of office
more than in.
Well, yes,
right.
But the entire month of July, they don't work at all. And in fact, I think it's.
Are you saying they should? Wow, you're a slave driver. Holy cow!
Yeah,
wow.
I think during the summer, I think they're off. I feel like it's 7 weeks in a row. Here it is. Here's a calendar.
Well, it's summer.
Okay, so
gotta take a summer break.
I'm sorry, they're out for all of August. Okay, so their last work day is the House.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, July 24th. They don't return until after Labor Day.
Oh my gosh, that's nice. That's a decent break, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
5.5 weeks straight.
That's a good gig if you can get it.
Sure is. Yeah, in fact, we were doing the math. I was on the DACE group on Friday, and Aaron McIntyre, I did the math where it said they were 40 days in and 39 days off. He did the whole year, and it's well over more vacation days than work days throughout the entire year.
Is it really? For the full year?
Yeah.
They're on vacation more than they're at work?
Yeah. I can't find it here, but it's not even close. It's like,
wow.
These guys. Of
course. I mean, do we want them doing things that we can't
That's
stand?
the argument.
Yeah.
Yes, when Democrats have control, but when Republicans and we have Trump in office,
it should be good.
We want your ass there.
Yeah, it should be good. 888-933-93. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. 888-933-93. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The other day, President Trump continued his push for Greenland.
Oh, no.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? He's still not ruling out military force. So that's on the table. He didn't say we're going to necessarily attack them and forcefully take over the island, but it's not out of the question either. So they get their backs up a little bit over this on the island itself. And so does Dutchland or whoever it is that owns them or whatever.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're pissed. But here's what Jens Frederik Nielsen said. He's the prime minister of Greenland and all 40,000 people who live there. Yeah, he's the prime minister for that vast population.
We got suburbs bigger than...
Yes. Yes. President Trump says that the United States, quote, will get Greenland, unquote. Let me be clear. The United States will not get it. We do not belong to anyone else. We decide our own future. Do you, though? Yeah, I mean, if we decided we wanted to take it,
I know.
Do you really think you could stop us? I mean, I don't want military force in order to take over Greenland, but if we used it, it would be successful. But according to the article, Greenland's not the only sovereign territory Trump has his sights on. Okay. They're bringing up Canada, of course, which I don't believe has ever been serious. He just likes to troll them.
Yeah, and if it's what caused the election to go the way of the liberals, then that's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Last week, the Liberal Party did sweep to victory, and they're talking about how they will never yield to the United States. Well, that's your own problem, because you should. I mean, you should want to be the 51st state.
I know.
You should be begging us to become the 51st state. But, of course, they're not. Also, speaking of sovereign nations, Mexico's president said that she vetoed President Trump sending U.S. troops to deal with the cartels in Mexico. She said that President Trump said to her, "How can we help you fight drug trafficking? I propose that the United States military come in and help you." And she says, "And you know what I said to him?"
Uh-oh.
"No, President Trump."
Put her foot down.
That's powerful. She added, "Sovereignty is not for sale. Sovereignty is loved and defended."
You know what? That wall just got 2 foot higher.
Right? Oh, man. You know, if they were this resolute about improving their own nation for their own citizens, then we wouldn't have the problem with illegal immigration that we have. At least not as far as Mexico is concerned. Might be other countries that still send their citizens our way. But there was a poll a while ago, a decade or two ago, of people in Mexico, and they were asking if you planned or would consider migrating to America. 1/3 of their citizens said yes. 1/3. There's 120 million people in Mexico. 1/3 of them.
120 million, so a third, so that's about 40 million, right?
About 40 million people.
Okay, and when was this poll?
Years 10 years ago or so.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Congratulations to the 40 million that apparently came here under the Biden administration.
Right.
It was them back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, you know, I don't know why you wouldn't want help with your cartel situation. Why? Why shouldn't we send the U.S. military in there and clean them out? It's a rat's nest. And they're killing people on a daily basis. They're a danger to your society and ours. Why would you not want that?
Yeah, and if we take over Mexico, I mean, that's going to have a lot of issues there. But at least you won't have tariffs on avocados
from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
There you go. See?
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean,
there's that.
You got to play triangulate, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Jesse Waters spoke with Elon Musk. Was this just last night?
I believe so.
Talking to Elon Musk about Mars. This should be fun. I love the Mars talk.
This is a backup plan in case something bad happens here, going to Mars.
That's one of the benefits of Mars is life insurance for life collectively. Eventually, all life on Earth will be destroyed by the sun. The sun is gradually expanding, and so we
Pause it for a second.
At some point.
Okay, that's down the road a bit. He's going to talk about that.
He'll go into it.
Okay. All right.
And so we do, at some point, need to be a multi-planet civilization. Because Earth will be incinerated.
I'm hearing this for the first time. No one's ever told me the sun is going to burn Earth.
This is not a disputed fact.
It's down the road.
I'm not disagreeing
Billions
with it.
of years.
I'm just saying I didn't know this was our destiny, to get roasted by the sun.
Yes, and I don't think there's anyone who would disagree with that.
So we have to set up plans to leave and spread out.
I mean, we have several 100 million years, so it's not like you don't hold your
More
breath.
like billions of years, but
if Earth has been around for 4.5 billion years, which is what the fossil record suggests, then Earth only has about 10% more life in it before it gets so hot that life is impossible.
And you're going to be the guy to put us closer to where we need to be to get to Mars.
We're headed there, yeah. We have a long way to go because it's not about just landing on Mars and doing flags and footprints. It's about creating a self-sustaining city on Mars. With the fundamental fork in the road of destiny being that Mars is sufficiently self-sustaining and can grow by itself. If the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason, whether that is because civilization died with a bang or a whimper, but if the resupply ships are necessary for Mars to survive, then we have not created life insurance. We've not created life insurance for life collectively. So that's the key
big
point
goal
in the future.
So
where destiny of life as we know it will forever be affected is when Mars becomes self-sustaining.
Okay, that's amazing. Does he believe in God?
Oh, I don't.
I've never heard his religious sensibilities.
He accepted Jesus when he was doing the podcast with the Babylon Bee guys.
He what now?
He accepted Jesus.
Did he
according
really?
to the Babylon Bee guys when they did their podcast together for the first time.
Okay.
They introduced him to Jesus. That's how much as I know about him.
I mean, if you believe in God, I don't think you would be concerned that the earth is going to burn up as a result of the sun. There's provisions for that. I mean, he didn't put us here just to burn up eventually. So I just don't buy that.
And if he's burning up, that means you're in hell. So sorry.
Even 10 billion years from now, the earth is not going to be incinerated by the sun. I don't believe that. So,
as of December of last year, I see a headline that says Elon Musk now calls himself a cultural Christian.
Yeah, that's what he did in
what does
the
that mean?
podcast.
Cultural?
Well, AI describes it as being like adheres to the principles.
Okay.
Of being a Christian.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, he sounds like a non-believer. Like we have to do everything to make sure that our existence continues, even 10 billion years from now when the sun burns up. So whatever. Interesting. I mean, that's a lot to do in order to have a life insurance policy for mankind, because you would have to terraform Mars. You can't just go there and put up a base. You gotta make Mars self-sustaining, right? That's what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can't have supply ships coming back and forth because the Earth's not going to be there.
The Earth is not going to be there. And then who gets to go? Is it just the people that can afford it?
Right.
So, how many years do we have to get it right?
10 billion-ish.
Give them -2.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there is such of a thing as, planning too far ahead.
Wait, what?
Because you could put your stuff on Mars and then you're like, all right,
okay,
we still got 90
ways to go.
million years to go.
But if we get to Mars by 2029 or whatever they're planning, 2032, whatever it is start terraforming right
now.
then.
Yeah.
Right then, so that you can change, create an atmosphere, and maybe grow some food, because that's going to be somewhat important. So there you go.
But you need food to survive, Pat?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Usually.
Mars or bust.
Mm-hmm. But there's not very many in our solar system. There's not many options. Venus is way too toxic. Mars way too close to the sun. And Mars is the only other rocky object. Well, I guess you could go to a moon. You could go to Titan or one of the moons that are rocky. But you could never move to Jupiter. Obviously, there's nothing to stand on. So you'd have to float the whole time.
I'm okay with that.
Are you? Okay. I don't think that Jupiter's gravity is okay with that.
Can we do like a live remote from Mars pretty soon?
Oh, yeah.
I don't see why not.
Do a show, maybe spend a week just doing shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
Spend a week that took you 6 months to get there.
All right. You know what? Leave it to the engineers to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, all right. All right. BlazeTV exists because in a world full of noise, we need a stronghold for bold voices, free thinkers, and fearless commentary that helps make sense of all the chaos around us. At BlazeTV, we've built a home for some of the strongest, smartest voices in conservative media. People who tell it like it is, who ask the tough questions the mainstream media just won't touch. And they don't want to touch them. And, people who are not afraid to challenge the narrative. So when you subscribe to BlazeTV, you're not just watching content, you're supporting a movement. You're backing creators who think for themselves, who speak boldly and refuse to be silenced by big tech or corporate media. You're supporting investigative journalism that exposes corruption and original documentaries that shine a light on the deep state. It's everything the networks won't show you. And it's delivered on your terms, on any device, anytime you want. And it starts at just $8 a month. So that is really, really inexpensive. When you use my promo code PAT at checkout, that's only 26 cents a day to stand with a platform that stands with you. So if you're ready to keep winning, To shop your values and make sure that we don't lose the ground we've already gained, go to blazetv.com/Pat. Subscribe today. That's blazetv.com/Pat. Promo code PAT. And you'll save $20 right now off your annual subscription plan. Blaze TV. It's unfiltered, unafraid, and on demand.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right. So Jasmine Crockett gave a commencement speech. Who is stupid enough to invite her to give a commencement speech? Oh, my.
What's the name of that college?
Tougaloo?
Yeah, Tougaloo.
Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi over the weekend. Here's some of what she had to say. I bet this is good.
I bet it is.
There are going to be people that tell you that you don't belong, and I am here to tell you over and over and over that you absolutely belong. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is a seat for you, but I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair.
What?
Whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it.
What?
Let me be the first one to tell you that I know that y'all are ready to put your boots on the ground. That's your cue.
Oh, DJ.
There we go.
There, okay. Ugh, jeez.
Jeez, that was terrible. I mean, even for her, that was terrible. It's not even a good... That's not even a good speech to fire up progressives. Good gosh.
I don't need to be rude, Pat.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so here's what she's referring to. The folding chair. I didn't realize this till right now. There's a viral video from August of 2023 of a group of white boaters attacking a black riverboat captain in Montgomery, Alabama. The white folding chair became a symbol of resistance when a black man raised a chair over his head in picket's defense as the other men attacked him. There you go. Now you know the reference.
Okay.
It's a folding chair because we know how to use it for other stuff.
Wow. Pathetic.
She's such an inspiration.
And she was on CNN last night. That's always a treat. That's some fun stuff.
The fact that you just got done engaging in a conversation where we have a president of the United States who has no idea about the oath that he just took on January 20th tells me everything that I need to know. He didn't even have good sense enough in that same interview to say something as simple as, yes, I will follow the Constitution. You know, the thing that actually derived from the oath that he was supposed to take. And he supposedly took an oath, which there's a lot of people that point out that he never put his hand on the Bible, even though he acts as if he could somehow be the Pope. But nevertheless, that oath specifically says that you will defend the Constitution. So the idea that you are now taking the Constitution and, as I said at the DNC, putting it through a paper shredder is a problem. And I think that this should not be partisan.
He was doing that,
this should be right versus wrong. A lot of the things that this administration is doing.
Stop. What they're trying to make out that he said he wouldn't uphold the Constitution is taking every single illegal alien to court to see if you can deport them. That's what they're trying to make out about Donald Trump not following the Constitution. By the way, the Constitution doesn't say that every single person who is here illegally must have a court hearing to deport them. It's just such garbage. So if you're going to deport 11 million people, are you going to have a hearing for every one of them? No. They're here illegally. That's what we need to know. Okay, they're breaking the law, so we can, according to the Constitution, abide by the law, which is to deport them, get them out of here. We don't have to have a trial for every single illegal alien in this country. Jeez. Oh, she's agonizing.
Trump's escalation.
I love how she's like,
so stupid.
This is about right versus wrong. There is not any occasion where Jasmine Crockett is on the side of right.
Not that I've ever seen. All right, well, let's leave on a happier note.
Okay.
end this on the. We played the.
Oh yeah.
We played the podcast of the baby with interviewing the dog on the baby's podcast last week.
It's a good chat. You know?
So podcast number 2 just dropped, right?
Yeah,
And
second episode. I'm surprised you're into it. You like this shit. This is so. In other words, this is going to be a podcast that you're going to listen to on a regular basis going forward.
I'm sure, yeah.
Because you're such a big podcast guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Welcome back to the Talking Baby podcast. Joining me once again this week is the only person I know whose entire body has a beard. Thanks for being here again.
Well, to be honest, the only other thing I had on the schedule for today was to eat the food out of my bowl, and I've already done that, so my day was pretty wide open.
Ooh, I'm glad you mentioned food, because you were eating recently and I was watching you.
Uh-huh.
I think it was yesterday or an hour ago or tomorrow. I don't really understand how time works yet. I'm a baby. But anyway, I was watching you and I noticed that the food that you eat is very different than the food that I eat.
Yes, it's very different. And for what it's worth, I also struggle with the concept of time. Anything that's not happening right now really confuses me.
Same. I'm really hoping it improves over the past few years. So anyway, here's the thing I noticed. The food that you eat doesn't come out of a person like my food does, which I just assumed that was standard practice. You know, I figured that when anyone was hungry, you know, you make the crying sound, wah, wah, and then a larger person picks you up, puts the food sacks that they have attached to their chest into your mouth, and boom, you're eating. But the more I look around, the more I'm like, wait, is it just me doing this? Am I a weirdo?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely just you. And yes, you are a weirdo. But, like, you're weird in so many other ways that's almost like the least weird thing about you.
Really? What are other things that are weird about me?
I mean, for one, you puke all the time, nonstop. Like, I'll puke once in a while if I eat my own poo or whatever.
What's that now?
Oh, you know how, like, when you're in the backyard and you're a little hungry, but mostly you're bored and you see an old pile of your own poo and you're like, meh, why not? And so you eat it and then your stomach's like, ooh, I did not like that. And so you puke, you know, like the normal reason people puke.
I'm starting to get the feeling that you may be unreliable as a source for what's normal and what's weird, but do go on.
Oh, another weird thing about you is that you're, like, super small compared to other people.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that before, but I always assumed that I was a totally normal size and that they were all just giant freaks.
Nah, you tiny, bro.
Whoa, hold on. I just had the craziest thought.
You want to taste your own poo?
What? No.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was thinking either.
Anyway, so I'm like not a big conspiracy person, but do you think it's possible that I will one day grow into being a giant freak like them?
Look, I'm not an expert or anything, but because right now you are the size that you are, I think I can say with absolute certainty that that's the size you're always going to be.
Oh, okay. That's a relief. Because honestly, between you and I, being this size is a pretty great gig. Like, I don't have to do anything. Like right now, I'm feeling a little hungry, so I'm going to do the whole crying thing in a second. And dude, within a minute, I'll have a warm food sack in my mouth. It's kind of the best.
Yeah, I'm also hungry, so I'm going to go out into the backyard.
Why are you going into the backyard if you're hungry?
No reason.
Right, and I'm the weird one. I guess we're both going to be puking in a few minutes. Whoa, am I starting to understand how time works?
Oh. All right, so you like that one as much or better?
Yeah,
they're both great.
It's on par. Yeah.
It's on par.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see if this continues for a while. Is the baby gonna start learning stuff? Is he gonna get older? Like, where are we going with this? It's funny stuff.
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Just sitting here watching that. I think I know what you like. You like babies that talk.
Yes.
I think that's your thing.
Well, I said last time we played this, I love the what is it? The E-Trade.
Yeah.
The E-Trade baby. I've always liked that.
Remember when that was cutting edge technology?
Oh man, jeez,
getting a baby to talk.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is I'm going to be working on a podcast for prisoners.
Oh,
so
really?
The prisoners, they asked if they could do a podcast, and they have to get it approved by the warden. But they say, "Hey, don't you do podcasts?" I'm like, "I do. Can you come back and teach us how to do one?" I'm like, "Well, if a baby and a dog can do it."
Yeah, well,
prisoners can do it.
They certainly, and you should be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What are they going to talk about?
Prison.
Mm-hmm.
Live in prison.
All right. That'd be
Sleeping in
fascinating.
prison.
I'm sure that's going to be fascinating.
Eating in prison.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow. Keep us updated on that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how that works out.
Can't wait to see their first podcast effort. How long is it going to be? Is it going to be a daily or a weekly or?
Still got to get it approved by the warden.
What's the title going to be? Prison Life?
Prison Life.
Mm-hmm. And where was this prison located?
Teague, Texas.
No idea where that is.
About 2 hours south in between us and Houston.
Oh, all right.
In episode 1, we learn how to fashion a shank behind bars. No?
Warden would not approve of that.
No,
That's
probably
the
not.
podcast. He
We're
wouldn't
just
probably
spitballing here, man. Okay.
All right. So, I love this story, too. J6 prosecutors bragging about locking up thousands of Americans. Former federal prosecutor at the DOJ testified last week at a hearing saying that he's proud of the prosecutions he handled, that he imprisoned people present at the Capitol. He said, thanks to the work of our team, the Justice Department charged more than 1,500 people with crimes and obtained criminal convictions against almost 1,300 people. We ensured that the rioters would face accountability no matter how short-lived. Our work created a public record of the crimes committed that day. Yeah, they sure did. People will think twice before they mill or parade again. Tell you that right now. This bastard's got years in prison for walking around the Capitol building and mostly doing nothing. But there was that guy who moved a lectern 20 feet, so he got what he had coming to him, that's for sure.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.